We've invited the top scholars from the world who study both gender imbalance and what are the root causes of this imbalance, and also what can be done to ameliorate this and promote gender balance within our businesses and society. This is not a women's issue. This is an issue for all of business and all of society. If we want to have the best talent running our organizations, we should not be selecting from just essentially half of the world's population.
I believe that promoting gender balance is essential. It is part and parcel of meritocracy. The reason why is that there are so many structural features in society that keep groups that have some kind of outsider status down. And so to the extent that there are corrective structures in place that create equal pay, that create equal promotion processes, stretch assignments, that is what meritocracy actually means. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we know that when you put structures in place that promote and advance women, all boats rise. So anybody who has some kind of outsider identity, whether it's the school that they went to, their hometown, they have a psychological limitation, they are outsider or otherwise in some way, this kind of gender equality and focus on that creates opportunities for everyone. This is something that we know.
I really try in my role to look for women who are maybe not being noticed and find ways to give them opportunities and experience where they're safe and they're scaffolded. So they can try and they can fail. And it's also really important to give them direct feedback and give them honest feedback. We're all grown-ups, and women who are grown-ups can also take feedback and take negative feedback and take criticism and improve. By cushioning or just being always nice, we're not really helping them at all.
What I've found is in university departments, so in academia, in the United States, African-American assistant professors are about 5 times more likely to be jointly appointed. So that means in 2 different academic departments at once. That's not terribly surprising to people in that community you talk to because they feel consistently spread thin. And so using something like a joint appointment to overcome a numbers problem and to add necessary and desired voices into a department is one way to solve, and I'll put that in quotes, the problem. Of course, then the real travesty of this comes in our last bit of findings, which is that when you are untenured and jointly appointed, your research productivity goes down, you are far less likely to get tenure, your year-over-year salary raises decrease, and why would this be? Well, you are spread thin, as I mentioned before. You are also now forced to make 2 different faculties happy as opposed to just 1. So these sort of things where a lot of time the intention is good, that we want to increase diversity, whether it's again gender-based, race-based, socioeconomic class-based, and then we put in practice policies and procedures and to help alleviate some of these issues without thinking through the long-term consequences.
I think a problem was, our current many organizations is that they have the wrong motivation when they promote gender balance. I still think they are, they want to do it because they see it as a demand from above or from somewhere that matters to them. So they are very active in getting a woman candidate, fulfilling that role. But what they didn't do so well, I feel, is to really create an environment in their organization so that women employees or women leaders can prosper. I think they sometimes underestimated the amount of work that's needed to achieve that goal, because we have all been socialized into our behavioral patterns, and that's indeed what social scientists have found again and again. So I feel many organizations underestimated the barrier that are needed to be overcome in order to achieve gender balance. So in addition to fulfilling the quota, I feel what's needed here is to really help change people's behavior and their attitudes, their beliefs. You know, having more women, I think, certainly helps because people will get more of an opportunity to observe, you know, that women can really deliver. But at the same time, you know, people need to reflect on their previously held beliefs.
There's a great story that Madeleine Albright tells from a graduation speech. And she said, when I was a young girl, I never imagined that I would be Secretary of State. And she said, it wasn't because I lacked confidence. She said, I had just never seen a Secretary of State in a skirt. And so it's a very profound statement. We can't be what we can't see. And so it is advancing women and making an extra effort to advance women in organizations is going to be profoundly enabling of younger women who look up and see women in these leading roles, and they will be more motivated and have higher aspirations themselves to fulfill those things. So even if it does require some extra effort to move people, categories of people, into leadership positions where they haven't been there before, I think what you're ultimately doing over time is maximizing the scope of talent that we'll have in our private but also public sectors.